Where are they? I think they're talking about us. No way. Nerds! 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 Come on, Lewis, let's go. Nerds! 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 Nerds!
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Nerd Culture Podcast, and this week is another episode of the Sports Nerds with Bob and Dan. I am Dan, and this is Bob. Hey, say hello, Bob.
Good morning, everyone. Happy 4th of July.
That's right. Happy 4th of July, indeed. I totally forgot to even say Happy 4th of July. And we are actually recording this on a Sunday as opposed to last week when we did this on a Saturday. We had quite an interesting podcast because last Saturday, right after we recorded the podcast, literally one of the radio stations in the area covered everything that we covered. That was ridiculous, wasn't it?
That really was. It was funny. It was like we were the prognosticators or whatever.
Yeah,
we predicted the future.
Yeah, I don't know. It was kind of weird. So we're just gonna do this on a Sunday and now hopefully post this maybe within an hour or two after after we record this way something like that doesn't get missed and we can see, and hear ourselves a little bit better. And before anyone else hears us, even though no one else should have heard us, but it seems like somebody was listening to us. That's what I felt. I'm looking around my house. I'm like, where are the little cameras that are installed in here? All right. Okay. So we have a pretty heavy sports week this past week. Let's get started with I think what I feel is the most important thing this week, which is with the NHL and the Stanley Cup. Because I think this is obviously you and I predicted both Tampa to win last week. I think we both predicted Tampa to win in 6, did we not?
We did. Yep.
We did.
Yeah, we were giving Montreal the benefit of the doubt that Carey Price would steal at least 1 or 2 games, but doesn't even look like that's going to be the case here.
Yeah, and that's what it looks like to me. It's not going to be the case either. However, so you had sent me something yesterday about Canada not allowing family members of the Tampa Bay Lightning to go into Canada. They're not allowing them to cross the border to go see their family win the Stanley Cup. Your thoughts? Give me your thoughts on that one.
Well, that's what it was like last year too, right? They didn't have their families there, and that's pretty much how it's going to be this year. It's terrible. I think they should allow them. They've been trying for the last couple of weeks to get clearance, and as I understand, they're still not allowing it. Canadian government is not allowing the close relatives and the wives and kids of the players to watch it, which is awful. I mean, because we're allowing their families into here to watch them, to come over to Tampa. Yeah, well, it should be the same way. I'm sorry, that's just not right. But
I agree with you. It should be the same way. So
I think it's going to provide extra motivation too for Tampa. So I think that.
Do you really?
I think we're going to see the first sweep in 23 years of the NHL final.
Wow, you answered a question I was going to ask. I was going to ask you, do you think Tampa is going to let up a little bit and maybe see if they can try to win it back at home the next game to win it in front of their family? I mean, you know me, I'm a sports guy and I've captained teams and you've been part of one of them. So you've been part of a couple of them actually. And to me, if this was me, I would say, don't do that. Don't even play that game. Let's just win at all costs and that's it. Do you think they're going to put a win at all costs, or do you think they're going to let up a little bit? And then, if Montreal happens to win, they win and they go back home and they win it? Or do you think they're just going to go ahead and just say sweep and that's it?
I think they're going to go for the sweep. I just think they're the better team and they're highly motivated. And like you said, you never know when the opportunity is going to present itself, and you don't want to take your foot off the gas and give any team any momentum. So let's, not that it's, it happens often, but I don't think there's going to, I don't think Montreal really has much of a shot to come back. But just end it now and celebrate tomorrow evening.
I'm glad you said this because I'm not going to say Tampa's going to let up, and I'm disagreeing with you about the sweep though. And here's my reason why. So we watched the last game, and we know that Tampa was dominating and dominated on the scoreboard pretty early on, but right at the end of that game, Montreal showed signs of life. Now I don't know if it was signs of life or signs of desperation at this point, but they showed signs of life. They what was this final score? 6-3, I think, right? I think
it was 6-3.
Yeah, so I mean, it was 5-1, go right before that, but they scored those 2 goals, and you had sent me a text to go, here comes this dreaded 3-goal lead, and I'm like, I looked at the clock, I'm like, it's 5 minutes left, it's not going to happen, but at least there's signs of life there. At least it shows Montreal can actually score, and Tampa's not the invincible team. I actually think that Montreal's gonna win one at home, and then we're gonna go back to Tampa, and Tampa's gonna win. Now that's just my feeling. I don't think this has anything to do with the fact that Tampa wants to go home possibly and win the Stanley Cup there. I actually thought that before you even told me this yesterday. So I didn't share that thought with you because I wanted to discuss on the show.
Sure.
Do you think Montreal has enough in them to win one game?
Not what I've seen. I mean, I thought if they were going to win a game, the game they outplayed them so far was game 2, and still Tampa won 3-1. So I thought they had to win game 3 to have any chance. I thought they were Montreal was going to win that game. I did say that was like a must win for them. In my mind, I thought that was the game that they were going to win, but they just, to get outplayed in the beginning of each period like that. And by the way, it was 3-1, then 4-1, then 4-2, 5-2, 5-3, okay. And then they added, a total giveaway with
the empty net,
3 minutes, off the defenseman, and Blake Coleman, former Devil, just backhanded right in the empty net. And then after that, after it was 6-3 with 3.5 minutes left, they just, kind of quit, I thought. So I don't think Montreal put much momentum into it. They, early in the third, right, they were playing a little desperation, but Vasilevsky just came up with all the saves. He played great, and he's outplayed Carey Price. That's just all there is to it.
He has
they've been
Carey
outplayed
Price,
in every facet of the game. They've been outplayed, and I just don't. I mentioned last week that Tampa's owned Montreal over the last several years, and it's really continued. I think we would have had a better Stanley Cup if Vegas was in. But,
and I was just going to say the same thing because we both said that. And here's why you're saying this, and I understand why you're saying this. You're saying this because Montreal wouldn't even be in this spot if things weren't reshuffled, right?
That's correct.
Yeah,
they belong in the Eastern Conference, and they wouldn't have even made it past wherever. Yeah, I don't think they would have made it past half the teams in the East. They had a very easy path to the to the Stanley Cup. They had the Winnipeg Jets, they had the Maple Leafs, the Jets, and the Knights were tough. I give them credit. They somehow won that, but I think that took all the gas from them. That's it.
Interesting you say it's an easy pass. I can understand the Maple Leafs because the Maple Leafs, I mean, they had a pretty decent team all season long. Not to take anything away from them, but we know how the Maple Leafs are in the playoffs. I mean,
they choke.
They choke all the time. I mean, they haven't won since the 60s, I think 63 or whatever it is. I don't even know what year it was the last time they won, but it's been a long time. Winnipeg, you mentioned an easy pass with Winnipeg. That really wasn't an easy pass for them, was it? I mean, that was a pretty tough series, if I recall correctly.
They were down. I think they were down. The last win for the Maple Leafs was 1967.
67 was the Maple Leafs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was. It's been a while.
It's been a while, right? Exactly.
It's been a long time, and that's the thing. They always come up small in those series. So, actually, this year, Montreal swept the Jets.
They swept
So
the
it was
Jets,
very easy.
so it was easy for them. Okay, because the Jets were pretty good this year, and I totally forgot about the sweep, huh? All right, hmm. All right. Well, anyway, regardless, they probably wouldn't even be in here because we know that Montreal is an East Coast team. We know Toronto's an East Coast team. This probably would have been a semifinal match. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, depending on if Montreal might have gotten past say the Islanders or something, right? We don't know this essentially is we're watching what would potentially be a semifinal match as a Stanley Cup final right now. I,
Yep.
I don't know if they're doing this. Are they doing this every year for this reshuffling? I know they did this because of COVID and they wanted to keep all the Canadian teams together. Do you think
That's
they're going to keep?
reason.
Do you think they're going
No.
to keep this format next year? I mean,
No.
or do you think it's going to go back to normal at that point?
I think once everything goes back to normal in Canada, then they're going to, then they'll be back to normal.
Right. Okay.
And I hope they do because you can't keep doing that. It's just, it's just
yeah.
Because they're going to reshuffle all the divisions again and go back to normal. I think so.
Right. That's what I think too. All right. So I actually think now at this point, I do think that still Montreal is going to take one. Just because I don't know if you follow how much you follow social media on Twitter. I know you're more of a Facebook guy than a Twitter guy. But NHL had a poll that they released out on Twitter. Twitter's pretty big for this kind of stuff. And they asked folks, right at the beginning of the series, who's going to win a Stanley Cup? And Montreal actually won out on that poll, like 54% or something like that. It was a pretty close race, but I was a little surprised at how many people voted for Montreal. As you know, I was originally going to pick Montreal first, and then I thought twice about it, saying Tampa's the much better team. I mean, they're the powerhouse team right now. They're the team to deal with. I'm just shocked. I don't know if this is really coming from, a lot of Canadian people on Twitter right now voting for them, or if people just don't want to see Tampa win. What is the hype about the Canadians that people want to see them win so much? Is it just a Canada thing?
I think it could be. I mean, they haven't won in a long time, so it's they're starving for a cup. I understand it, but I just don't. Yeah, I was listening to a lot of people too that predicted them. I did see some things on Twitter, and I'm not sure if they're going by their heart or not the facts. That's for sure. Because if you clearly see, Tampa is just stronger all over the place. So I don't know. I think everyone's thinking Carey Price because he had a wonderful playoffs. I think he was going to outplay Vasilevsky, but that hasn't been the case.
All right. So
just so you know, the Jets finished with 63 points, which that was the last qualifying team in the division, the Canadian division, the North Division they called it. The Islanders, who was last place of the East who qualified, the qualifying was 71 points. So you could see the East was a lot stronger.
Yeah, definitely.
And the Lightning at 75 points.
Definitely.
So.
All right. So you're talking about Carey Price. So I'm gonna change gears a little bit. I think we're already done with Stanley Cup talk. Obviously, we know the game is what, Tuesday? I think is it done Tuesday night or is it Monday? I don't remember.
It's tomorrow night.
Oh, it's Monday night. Okay, so how can I not? So I'll probably be watching with good intent now, just to see if what happens. All right, switching gears a little bit. You're talking about goalies. I'm gonna run off some names: Marc-Andre Fleury, Andrei Vasilevsky, Phil Grabauer, Connor Hellebuck, Semyon Varlamov, Jesse Saros, and Mike Smith. These were our finalists for the Vezina Trophy. Carey Price wasn't even considered. I mean, he was not even considered. Out of those, we know that Marc-Andre Fleury won. I don't know if you knew. I'm sure I must have told you Marc-Andre Fleury won. Now he didn't win by a lot. I mean, looking at the voting, it was like 108 to 99 between him and Vasilevsky. I mean, that was pretty much our top two right there. After that, it was just very lopsided. I mean, it was just third place was just got Grabauer and so on and so on.
Hellebuck. Yeah.
And so do you think Vasilevsky is better than Fleury, or do you think Vasilevsky just has a better team in front of him? I mean, obviously Fleury had won the Vezina, but who is a better two goalie? I mean, what do you think?
No, I think Vasilevsky's a better goalie.
You think, yeah, I thought
Marc-Andre
the same.
Fleury, when he's hot, he's one of the best. Absolutely. I mean, he was 26-10 this year, so
Yeah,
he had 6 shutouts, so he was really good. 1.98 goals against, uh, 0.928 save percentage. He was great, but I just think overall Vasilevsky is the better goaltender, and he's younger too, I believe. So he's got a lot. The future's so bright for him.
I'd be curious to see how he would be with a team in front of him that wasn't Tampa. That's what I would want to know. Because or not even a team that's not Tampa, but like a watered down Tampa team. How would he be? How would he be as good? I don't know, because Tampa's got some pretty strong D. And
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, so that's always a question in my mind. Would he be the same? Would he even be considered up there? I mean, I think so. I think so, but I guess we'll have to watch that over the next few seasons just to see how it goes. I don't necessarily see see how he wouldn't be worse. But again, we don't know. You are I'm just going to throw this out there. You are a Devils fan. We know that Brodeur had a very strong team in front of him, which made him better. But not to take anything away from Brodeur, he was honestly, I will say this right off the bat. Brodeur was probably one of the best, if not the best goalie that I've ever seen play. So it's if we see a Vasilevsky like this, then I think Tampa's got a pretty bright future ahead of them with more Stanley Cups.
Yeah, they could be a dynasty.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. All right, so I'm going over to the Hart Trophy. Connor McDavid, Austin Matthews, Nathan McKinnon, Sidney Crosby, and Brad Marchand. Connor McDavid just completely blew everyone away. I mean, I think that was expected. The closest you had was Austin Matthews, who was pretty good on Toronto. With his, I think he had a pretty decent amount of goals over there. So he was pretty good over there. Was there any other doubt in your mind about Connor McDavid at the MVP for the Hart Trophy?
No, I mean 105 points, 56 games. That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean that's that's just that. I mean, you think about that. That's almost double the amount. So it's like almost 2 points per game, right? So I think he's well deserved it. And there were a lot of people that just pretty much said the same. No one's really disagreed with that. They said just give it to Connor McDavid and that's it. I think that's as far as it went.
I mean Matthews had more goals, but McDavid had 33 goals and 72 assists. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. I'll throw. Let's talk about the Norris Trophy because I am so happy with this one, as you know.
Oh yeah.
So we got Adam Fox, Kale Maker, Victor Hedman, Dougie Hamilton, and Charlie McAvoy. Those were our top 5, and then you throw Shea Theodore in there as well, I guess, really. But those are basically your top 5, 6 right there. Adam Fox won. He didn't win by much, but he did win the Norris Trophy. I was psyched when this happened. I thought this was deserved. Adam Fox was a bright spot the entire season for the Rangers. He was on a team that had potential to have a lot of bright spots on it, but just kind of fell flat games here and there. Adam Fox just never fell flat. Like he was a top defenseman for the Rangers, and he was honestly, up there in the league, like pretty much one of the best defensemen. Any doubt in your mind about that?
No, I watched the games I did watch the Rangers. He always stood out in my mind. Always a bright spot back there where blocked a lot of shots, and he was just solid on the power play. So well deserved.
So what about Maker and Hedman? I mean, Hedman, as we know, is with Tampa, Maker's with Colorado. Do you think that both these guys should have been even considered for the Norris? I mean, is this kind of like a one-time thing for them? I think Hedman definitely, obviously consideration, but I was a little surprised about Maker up there and so high. Was he that good this year?
I haven't watched too many games of the Colorado, to be honest with you. I did hear, a few games I watched. He was solid. But Victor Hedman always stands out when I watch him.
So let me look up his stats, because obviously we don't know too much about him, right? And we're trying to figure this out.
Maker scored 44 points. He had 8 goals, 36 assists in 44 games. But I just think that Fox stood out. He had 23 points alone on the power play, and it had 102 block shots. That's a lot for a defenseman.
Wow, yeah, definitely a lot for a defenseman. You are right about that. Yeah, and that's a big reason why, when you think about that, it's a big reason why. All right, good. So I'm glad we agree about this. Now, here is going to be a very sore topic for you. I'm very sorry. I'm gonna throw this out there. The Calder Trophy. Kaprizov won the Calder Trophy. And he won. He didn't win by a lot, but he went up there. I don't know if you're aware about this, but the Devils are very sore about this right now. I don't know if you heard that they went on Twitter and they basically said, anyone that didn't vote for Ty Smith, basically unfollow us. We don't want to hear from you. I don't know if you heard about that.
No, I did not hear about that, but I don't agree with that.
I think I don't follow the Devils Twitter account and pay attention to it. It's very unprofessional. I don't know if you've, it's the most ridiculous thing how unprofessional they are.
Really? Yeah, I don't follow them. I'll have to take a look at it.
Like, they basically tell fans off, and I'm very upset about that, because I'm following them on Twitter because I'm trying to follow, some of the local stuff and try to keep track of what's going on. But Ty Smith, because he was number 7 in the ranking for the Calder Trophy. I want to talk about him, and what's funny is he was number 7. Igor Shershekin was number 5, and I don't think Igor even deserved to be number 5. I didn't think he was that great this season. We had guys like Josh Norris and Jason Robinson who were above them. These are young players coming up. Keandre Miller, as you know, from the Rangers, he was down all the way to 12th. I'm not disappointed that he was down to 12. Ty Smith, I think that, here's my opinion. I want to hear your opinion about Ty Smith a little bit. I think that maybe he could have made a better running for this, because he was again one of the better parts of the Devils all season long. And I think the problem was that it went very unnoticed because it wasn't like talked about a lot. And I think that's kind of why the Devils are a little upset about it. Tell me your thoughts about Ty Smith. What is going on through your head on this one? Do you think that, his running for Rookie of the Year right now, which is, he didn't win it. Do you think he deserved to win it or be closer in the running? No, you don't think he deserved to be closer to running.
No. He only had 2 goals and 21 assists in 48 games.
That's not a lot.
It's not a lot. Yeah, and he had a -9 plus minus. So whatever, you could take that with a grain of salt. But he's definitely not worth winning the Calder. Absolutely not. Kaprizov had a wonderful year. I mean, come on, he's a left winger. Usually a defenseman doesn't win a Calder Cup either, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Usually it's a forward. And he had 51 points, 27 goals, 24 assists, 55 games. I mean, I think that's pretty darn good. He set a lot of records for the Wild this year. It's the first time they ever had anyone win the Calder for them. So I think he's well deserved. Right. And I did watch him a little bit, and he I didn't know much about him, but I was watching a game this year. I was like, wow, this guy's pretty good. He's fast. He's got a great shot, and I think he well deserved. Good. I mean, I don't think they were wrong on that. And for the Devils to be upset about Smith not winning it, I just don't quite understand that.
I was a little about it too. I was like, I don't know. I was like, he's been the bright spot about the Devils, but that was about the Devils. Let's talk about the entire league, right? Has he been that shining star in the entire league? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. If he was talked about more, then yes, then I would say yes, but he wasn't, and there's a reason why, right? All right, you're talking about Minnesota. Here's a oh by the way moment. So, oh by the way, the St. Louis Blues are playing the Minnesota Wild on New Year's Day, 2020, at Target Field in Minnesota for the Bridgestone NHL Winter Classic. So they are going to be playing at where are they playing? Back in the Twin Cities at Target Field. So I think it's awesome to see that being brought back, because I don't think we got a Winter Classic this year, right? If I recall correctly, I don't think it was. Was there any outdoor game?
Yes.
There was. How did I miss it?
It was the one in Lake Tahoe. There were two, I believe.
Oh, that's right. The Lake Tahoe games. That's right. And there was like hardly any fans there at all, if anything, because of COVID. That's why I missed it.
Do you know the last time the Devils actually, just go back to that Calder? Do you know the last time the Devils actually had a player win it?
No.
And we did have, mind you, two first round, number one picks back to back years. Recently with Heischer and Hughes, and they did not win it.
Who was it? Was it like Patrick Elias or someone?
It was Scott Gomez in 99, 2000.
I was close. I was close. I was close with the years. Okay. All right. All right. Cool.
So maybe that's why they're upset, because it's been so long, 21 years.
Whatever. All right. Well, hopefully, for your sake, for you guys' sake, I hope that, maybe there's just some turnaround and you'll get something this year, but we'll see.
And then Brodeur 93 and 94. So
right, I knew that one. Yeah. That's where I thought you were going, but I was thinking to myself, it can't be. I'm like, this couldn't be. Yeah.
No.
All right. So we got the Target Field game, Winter Classic coming up in New Year's Day. I'm so psyched about this. We did not have a New Year's Day game like we normally do. This year, I think the season started a little bit later this year. I'm glad that we're getting a full season this year, which will be a good test for a lot of teams. Obviously after this week, we'll be talking about the Stanley Cup probably next week coming up. And then after that, we take a little break from hockey until September. Actually, not necessarily, because we got the NHL draft coming up at the end of July. So we can touch base on that a little bit. I actually hold on. I think the Winter Classic was postponed. It was already postponed. No kidding. Oh, no. Oh, it was postponed. Okay.
From last year.
Yeah, that was last year's news I'm looking at. But they're still going on with it 2022. Yeah, this was postponed for this year. So that was actually supposed to be the game, the game from last year. So I'm looking at this. I think it's the same thing though, right? Yeah, it's still the same thing. They're doing the Minnesota versus St. Louis. Cool. Great. I'm actually happy about that then. All right.
It should be a good game.
Yeah, that should be a good game. I will definitely be rooting for Minnesota that one for certain. All right. And then a little another by the way, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. We know that he has not really lived up to his hype as much as he should have, but he signed an 8-year deal with the Edmonton Oilers. So one of the unrestricted free agents we were talking about last week is now no longer an unrestricted free agent and won't be for 8 years unless he gets traded.
Yeah, they locked him up before he even became. Before all the teams were able to sign.
Yeah, I have a feeling you're going to see some of that, but I think unrestricted free agency is starting soon, right after these playoffs.
Yep.
So,
All
right. So we have to switch gears to baseball. Oh boy,
it was a wacky week in baseball. Let me tell you that. If you would have told me last week that the Cubs would have blown a 7-0 lead and the Yankees would have blown a 8-4 ninth inning lead, I wouldn't have believed it. But that did happen.
You had given a lock of the week last week saying that the Yankees are not going to get swept by Boston. They're going to take that final game. And unfortunately, you were so wrong. I was very shocked myself that Garrett Cole just couldn't come into the clutch on that one, or the Yankees themselves. And they just played so bad, with this, and they're just playing so bad right now. I mean, they lost to the Mets last night, and we didn't get a game on Friday night, obviously, because it postponed for the rain. But they lost to the Mets last night, and the Mets actually are not playing that well either. They had they lost a pretty big game earlier in the week. They lost two big games. They got blown away in one. And then the DeGrom game, DeGrom showed signs of being human, right? And he actually gave up a few runs. The Mets did come back after that, but the Mets actually ended up losing in the bottom of ninth anyway. So typical Mets, right? So,
Yeah.
and DeGrom didn't even get his win anyway, and but he showed signs of being human a little bit now, which is, I guess, a little surprising, but not surprising. I'm wondering, is that going to affect him at all? Do you think it's going to affect DeGrom, or do you think he's just going to come back and just be that pitcher that he was all season long, and and he'll barely give up any runs? I mean, or do we think he now we'll start seeing teams hit him for a couple runs? Now that they'll be watching, some of the video and probably seeing how another team handled them.
Well, he gave up 3 runs against the Braves the other evening, and after that, he was lights out, and he struck out 14 through 7. So I mean, he was still pretty dominant.
but still, 3 runs is a lot for him, right? I mean,
it is. Yeah, no, that's the most he's given up. But his ERA rose to 0.95 now. I mean, so it's
still under 1.
I mean, yeah, he's still incredible. He's on an incredible run. Go to the Yankees. There's definitely something to be considered with the sticky stuff, ever since that talk, and they've been cracking down. MLB's been cracking down on that. Yeah, Garrett Cole has not been the same. Domingo Germán, not the same. And especially Aroldis Chapman, not the same. Chapman's ERA in June was 12.07. I mean, come on.
Ouch.
That's horrible.
Ouch. Well,
yeah, so we always know Chapman breaks down like midway through the season. But this is what
I was just gonna say that. I was like, I've been never a fan of Chapman, to be honest with you. I mean, we just haven't. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say we haven't had anything as close to Mariano Rivera as we've had.
No.
Right? I mean,
not too many teams do.
Yeah.
We were spoiled.
And I think that's our expectation. That is our expectation, and we just not getting that.
Chapman's been good. He was lights out earlier this year, but now, in June he had that one bad blow up against Minnesota, and after that he had maybe 1 or 2 good ones. But I mean, the other evening was awful. He didn't pitch in a week, and you could just see it right away. He's just walking the ballpark, and then Boone leaves him in, and he hangs a breaking ball right over the plate, and Jared Walsh cranks it for a grand slam. And that's another thing I have to say, because I don't know why no one keeps saying it, but they bring in Lucas Luque, which I feel he pitches almost every night. I mean, the guy, you're going to wear the guy out. He was solid, but they brought him back after a tie game against the Angels. He gives up 3, so they lose the game 11-8. That's 7 runs given up in the 9th, 4 by Chapman, 3 by Luque. Then yesterday, when they get into a tight situation, base load, mind you, they had a rain out on Thursday, so they didn't play. They had 2 days off. Bullpen should be rested, right? You would think.
Mm-hmm.
Bases are loaded. After Montgomery, gives up the base load, who do they bring in again? Lucas Luque. They have nobody else to bring in, and you have to face 3 guys. There's no out situation. And he brings in Luque for 2 right-handed batters. So if Boone is such a percentage guy, lefty versus lefty, brings in him for a grand 1 lefty, but then 2 righties, it doesn't make sense. Boone needs to go. I mean, I know everyone's saying, well, it's not going to make a difference. His managerial decision making is horrible lately. You have nobody else, so don't you maybe bring in Green, because Green's a strikeout guy. He had the last 3 days off. Bring him in. Nope. Let's bring Luque in. The game just got away. After that, and Gary Sanchez, the way he caught yesterday, like minor league catching, he didn't. I don't know if you caught it, but he actually had a pass ball because he made another mental mistake. He got crossed up in the 3rd inning, and Montgomery was pointing to his finger like that's one, and that's why people don't want Gary Sanchez catching for him.
Yeah,
because he just makes these mental mistakes, and his talent's there, but his bat's been coming around lately. But I think he needs to go. I think the team. It's fitting. It's 4th of July. I think we need to blow this team up. I really do.
Not the entire team, but there's certain players.
I think there's certain things that need to be gone.
I think that Sanchez is definitely one of them. I agree with you. Obviously, our big thing is between him and Stanton. I mean, we talked about this last week with Stanton, right? Between him and Stanton, and Sanchez, has been. Everyone has so high expectations of him, and when he when they hear he hits like a home run or something, they're like, oh, it's Gary Sanchez, blah blah blah. But like honestly, no. Like I've always thought the same thing with him, with a lot of his mental mistakes and stuff. We don't. What do we do with catcher? I mean, what do we do with the catcher?
And we need to get someone. We need to, while his ceiling's, so to speak, high right now, go get somebody. Let's get some solid quality for him, because he's just, whether we get prospects or whatever, he is just, I don't know. Even in the sixth inning yesterday, did you see how he played? He butchered that ball. It bounced in the dirt, and he's looking all over for it, and it's over by the Yankee dugout, and he's looking the other way. I mean, this is a professional major league catcher, and he's doing that. I am so sick of Gary Sanchez, the way he plays. He needs to go. He really does. They need to. Another guy they mentioned, Gleyber Torres. Now, maybe because he had COVID or whatever a couple times this year, he's not the same. He can't hit a home run. He can't hit the ball. He can't hit a line drive. If you watch all his hits, they're just like little weak singles. What is wrong with him? He was supposed to be like, the franchise next, player. I'm not seeing it. Nothing. He's doing nothing. So I think, and Stanton, he's handicapping the whole team, because you got to put him in as a DH, and you can't, and that was another thing against Ohtani. Judge didn't play. Oh, because he needed a day off.
Yeah.
Okay. He needs a day off. So you can't put him in as DH because you're hamstrung with that position. So, you have so much more flexibility if Stanton could actually play the outfield. And I keep hearing Boone say, oh, he's close. Well, when's it going to be? At the end of the year when the games mean nothing? I don't know. The Yankees are done. I mean, right now, I know I said last week they can make the playoffs. No way. Not the way they're playing. They have to really turn it on. They have a doubleheader today, 2 7-inning games.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that's horrible. And Major League Baseball needs to do something about that.
And it's funny you said they can make the playoffs, and I just said mathematically yes, but I told you that I don't think they could. I just said, remember I said I'm looking at the team and I just don't think the team's good. There's actually a conversation MLB's having now because Boston, I think that it has not been doing too well this past week. I think they might have lost last night. I don't know what the score was. But they started
7-6 in extra innings to the A's, but they've been hot. They're 8-2 in their last 10.
They're 8-2 in the last 10. Okay, so they haven't lost a lot then. Okay, because they started talking about an MLB about whether or not this AL East is now a 2-team race or a 4-team race. And at this point, I want to say it's a 2-team race at this point, because
Boston's in first by 4.5 games because Tampa's tanking now. Tampa's lost 5 straight.
Well, let's talk about Tampa because and another team that, I mean, this doesn't really, this pertains a little bit, but last week we said the Blue Jays aren't that great. They're not, but now the Blue Jays have won 5 out of 7. I don't know if this past week. Yeah.
Yeah. 7 in their last 10. They've 2 straight. They've gotten hot, and they're playing Tampa. Again today, so they could go for the sweep. And you said last week that they just weren't that same team because of all their injuries, and they haven't been that great. And now suddenly, and we're looking, and like right after we said that, 5 out of 7. Well, George Springer came back. That's huge.
Yeah.
Now they're maybe getting a little healthier. It's when I was away, all this, and after we spoke, the Cubs haven't won a game. Right. They've lost 8 straight. The Milwaukee Brewers won 11 straight. Now
I heard
they have an 8-game lead in the Central, all because of all these losses. So it's just, the Cubs I thought the Cubs were going to run away with it. So I was wrong with that. Milwaukee's just on fire.
Yep, I hear about Milwaukee too, and they're playing. Yeah. First of all, they're playing Pittsburgh, right now, and isn't Pittsburgh the worst team in baseball right now, if I recall?
Yeah. Pittsburgh's awful. I mean, Pittsburgh lost 6 straight. They're 29-53, and they're just. I don't know if they're the worst team is Arizona Diamondbacks, 23-62.
Diamondbacks. All right. Well, okay. Yeah. All right.
But yeah, they're pretty bad. We have a really good out west, man. San Francisco Dodgers.
Dude, you're reading my mind. You're reading my mind. I was just going to ask you about the West Coast.
I told you I could predict the future. No,
I was just going to ask you about San Francisco. I was going to ask you about San Diego too, and it's funny you bring both of them. Go ahead. I want to hear your thoughts. Go, keep going.
Yeah, no, the Dodgers are hot right now. They've won 8 straight, and they're half game out. San Francisco's still playing some good ball. they keep winning. Right now they're playing the Diamondbacks, but if they win today, they'll win 3 out of 4 in that series. San Diego is falling a little lean times right now. They lost 3 straight. The Phillies have beaten them twice.
Wow.
So yeah, and that I'm surprised about. But so Phillies are going for a sweep today. We'll see if that happens. Maybe we'll get into it. That'll be my lock of the week. We'll see. But yeah, I think it's a great race. Don't count San Diego out, absolutely. But Dodgers are hot stuff right now, and San Francisco. I like to see what they're doing there. No one ever thought that they would be competing, but I told you they have that clutch hitting and that great bullpen, and starting pitching's been solid for them too. They just get the job done. So it'd be fun to see.
Then we go a little bit to the Central. Obviously, the White Sox are, the White Sox are now. I mean, there's no doubt about that. I think we touched base on that one. It looks like they're playing Detroit coming up today. So I don't know what the week goes for them right now. I don't really have much to cover, I think, with any other baseball at the moment. I do have the All-Star game that we need to talk about, though. So we need to discuss the All-Star game here. So let me run through our starters, because we have our starters, and we know that. Let me run down the AL side, which I'm very surprised about this. Okay, I'm surprised but not surprised. Mike Trout is voted into a starter for the All-Star ballot, and now he's just put on the 60-day DL. He was already on a DL before this. Why the hell are the fans voting Mike Trout in if he's on a DL? Like, is this just because he's a name?
It's popularity vote, yeah.
It's so stupid. They need to take him off the All-Star ballot then. If he's injured, they can't be doing that. Like, they need
to hurt for like the last month. Yeah, I mean, I don't understand that. But then Judge got in. Yeah, he got in well deservedly.
Yeah, absolutely. And he got second place. I mean, he got second place on the All-Star ballot. Yep. He's absolutely deserved on there. He was number 2, which means he would be number 1 at this point if we take Mike Trout out. Not by much, because Byron Buxton actually was the 3rd guy that got in, which I can understand. I think that's okay. That's a guy that I think also deserves. And then you got Teoscar Hernandez. I don't know if is Teoscar Hernandez actually decent this year, because I know he's been pretty good.
Teoscar Hernandez is a good player. He was hurt a little bit, but he's been back. He's always been a solid player. Always liked the way he played. Yankee killer, but he really he's solid right fielder.
And he's been named a starter. So actually what's kind of interesting to hear about this is that Byron Buxton is not even named a starter, and he was number 3 in the All-Star vote getting. And now,
he's been hurt too.
So. Yeah, so I don't know. So, but they named Trout a starter, which is so stupid. I don't understand why they're doing that. Like, why even name him a starter when he's on the DL? Like, what are they trying to do? Like, what is MLB trying to do?
It's a popularity vote. I mean, I don't know. Trout, I mean, he is a great player, but he seems to get hurt a lot. And, it's not just the first season he's been hurt. I don't know. I think there's a lot of hype about Trout too, because has he won anything? His teams never win anything. So
yeah. So let me run down who are the leaders of everyone all together for the All-Star game. We'll run through the top 5. Vlad Guerrero Jr., absolutely number 1, and he is on fire. I mean, he is just the guy that deserves to be up there. Do you disagree with me on that one at all, or do you disagree?
No, I agree. He's having a great year, just like follows the footsteps of his daddy. But he's really having a great year. I mean, he's hitting .337 with 27 homers, 69 RBIs already. Halfway through the season. He was having a great year. Another guy that great year, Shohei Ohtani.
Well, yeah, he was 3rd, and he's a pitcher, right? I mean, he's a pitcher / outfielder. Right, it's pitcher / outfielder, right?
Pitcher DH really is what he is.
No, I guess they consider him DH, and he has 30 home runs, right?
30 homers, yeah. So we might in the year of the non-juice ball have a guy with 60 home runs. That'd be interesting to see. So because no one's going to ever catch 70 home runs, 71 homers or whatever it was during the steroid year. Yeah, you're not going to – the steroid era, those numbers are what they are. But this is legit. if he could, if he could actually hit over 60, that's pretty good. Hey, catch Roger Maris, right?
Yeah, right. Seriously. So that's another guy that I think he's just such a bright spot for his team. It's just kind of ridiculous when I'm even thinking about it. How we're talking about a pitcher. I mean, essentially a pitcher having 30 home runs. But not just a pitcher. But anyway, yeah. And does he lead the league in home runs? Is he the leader right now? He does.
Yes.
So
sure does.
And Guerrero's right behind him, right?
Yes, Guerrero has 27.
And then we're followed, I think. I think Fernando Tatis Jr. is the next one. I think I heard Kyle Schwarber got hurt.
That is correct. He left with a leg injury on Friday evening.
Yeah, because Tatis and Schwarber were neck and neck with the home runs. Tatis is also a starter on the NL side for I guess he was a number 2 vote getter overall. And he was there on the NL side. Is there still just a lot of hype around him, or is he like really a guy that's really great? Like, is he the best player on the Padres right now?
No, yeah, he is. No, there's not. I mean, he's a lot of flair and everything, but he backs it up. He is a great player. Okay. They're not the same San Diego without him. He has 26 homers this year, so and he's been hurt too, right? He only played 66 games, so he's been out. So
wow,
he's good. There's no just all hype with him. That's legit.
All right, let me run through the rest of the starters here because I want to cover this because I don't want to spend all the time on this. So Ohtani is a designated hitter, which is exactly what I expect would be. Salvador Perez is a catcher from Kansas City. Interesting. I like Perez. I think he's got a lot of power behind him. Vlad Guerrero Jr. is the first base. I think we expected that. Marcus Semien from the Blue Jays is actually the second base. Was there any other second baseman that you think could have potentially made it instead of Semien? Because I'm not sure if Semien does. You don't think so? I'm not sure. No. I wasn't sure on Semien because I haven't really paid attention to him.
No, Semien's having a great year.
Right. And then we have 2 Boston Red Sox make it, Rafael Devers at third base and Xander Bogaerts, who I think also deserves it in shortstop.
Yep.
And then obviously we know the outfielder, Mike Trout, Aaron Judge, and Teoscar Hernandez, but we know Trout's not going to go in there. I don't think MLB's decided who's going to take his place, but I think it's going to be pretty obvious that we're probably going to see a guy like, I don't know. I'll let them decide, but I'm sure they'll figure it out. I couldn't tell you who another outfielder is going to be at the moment.
Could be JD Martinez.
You think JD Martinez? I don't even think he was on the list of making a team yet.
I could see him being voted in. We'll see. I mean, that would be my guess.
Okay. And then on the NL side, we have, let me look at this. We know Fernando Tatis Jr. is going to be there as shortstop. Adam Frazier from Pittsburgh on second base. That's a little surprising considering that Pittsburgh's so bad this year. I guess he must be pretty hot right now for him to make that team. Ronald Acuna Jr. from the Braves, Nick Castellanos from Cincinnati, Jesse Winker from Cincinnati. So we got 2 Reds in there. Freddie Freeman from the Braves, Nolan Arenado from St. Louis at third base, and Buster Posey from San Francisco at catcher. I like Buster Posey. Buster Posey is a good choice at a catcher. I think he's a pretty good player. Some of these players, though, I'm looking between the AL and the NL, and I'm just going to tell you right now, AL should dominate this game. The AL should absolutely dominate this game between these two. I think we've always seen that a lot, and that I don't know. I don't get that feeling. That feeling with the NL players, except for maybe 1 or 2 guys, I don't get that feeling that the AL is going to lose to them. I don't think the NL is going to have a strong game. I could be wrong. I don't know. What do you think?
No, I think the AL always dominates, and I couldn't disagree with you. I think they're going to, I think they'll win.
Let me ask you another question.
They seem stronger.
Yeah, let me ask you another question. They haven't listed any pitchers yet. Why is that?
I think they announced them tonight.
They announced him tonight, so we'll know. So obviously, I think our top pitcher is probably going to be announced, and it'll probably be DeGrom, right? I think that's without a doubt.
Yeah, but he won't be pitching because he's pitching Sunday before the All-Star game, so he definitely will not be playing in the All-Star game.
Isn't the All-Star game next weekend though? If he's pitching,
he's pitching next Sunday, and he's slated to pitch next Sunday. So
the All-Star game's on Tuesday.
Yeah, so he will not be. He will not be partaking in it.
So he'll probably get voted in, but he probably won't be partaking in it. Got it. Okay.
Correct. Yeah.
So let's talk pitchers because I don't know who else can be voted in at this point, right? And I am obviously no Yankee should be voted in at this point, as far as I'm concerned, from a pitching perspective. If any Yankee gets voted in, maybe Garrett Cole, but I just think that needs to go. I just think thought of any Yankee pitcher needs to go. Give me some pitchers that you think from the AL and the NL that really deserve to be in there.
Well, I think Clayton Kershaw will definitely get in there.
Clayton Kershaw, really?
Yeah, I think Kershaw will get in there. I think probably Scherzer will get in there again. Max Scherzer from the Nationals.
Why are you saying these guys? Because okay, I can understand Max Scherzer, but
because they're solid. I mean, they're Kershaw's. He's having another good season. He's on a solid team too. Obviously, that helps, but he's only had a few bad starts. So I think he needs to. He'll be in there.
I'm surprised that Clayton Kershaw is not. I'm looking at the ERAs, and he's not up there at any ERA right now. He's actually got wow.
He has a 3.39. I mean, he's not. Was he 9-7 this year?
Something like that. Yeah, it must be 9-7. Yeah, 9-7. Yeah, so it's interesting that you're saying this because he's got a lot of wins, but his ERA is pretty far down. Not that great.
Yeah, he had a stretch of a couple bad starts in a row, but he's been solid since. I think he'll get in. I mean, we'll see, but I think I think he'll definitely get in. I think you'll see Darvish probably get in from the Padres.
Wow. I mean, yeah, his ERA is pretty decent, but there's other guys I'm looking at this right now. For example, Brandon Woodruff from Milwaukee. I mean,
he'll get in.
You think he'll get in?
Yeah, I think he'll get in. He has been solid. You're right.
And what about Zach Wheeler from the Phillies?
Zach Wheeler's been solid. Yeah, I could see him getting in from the Phillies. Yeah.
Right.
I don't know who will start. That's up to the manager, really.
And what about Nathan Eovaldi from Boston? I mean, his ERA is not that great, but he's got a decent amount of wins right now. So
Eovaldi's had a good year, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, and
what's
I'm wondering
the ERA at? Was it under? It's under 3, right?
No, I don't think so. Let me just look at what he's got here.
Okay.
I can't. He is 9-4 with a 3.41 ERA.
Yeah, he's pretty solid though. Yeah, I would.
That 9-4 is pretty good though. 90 strikeouts actually right now, which is
he's been good. How about Lance Lynn? I think he'll get in.
Yeah, so I was actually going to say Lance Lynn. He's another guy that I think is going to go in because he's right up there. He's got a solid ERA. I don't think he's got a lot of wins at the moment. He is, he's 8-3. Okay, but he got 99. He got 99 strikeouts, 2.02 ERA. In 15 games, so that's an 8-3. That's really good.
Ohtani may get in too. That'd be interesting, right?
That would be interesting as well. And I could see them doing that. I don't know. Do you think can they actually vote him in twice, or are they just going to say he's already in, but let's put him in as a pitcher for an inning? What do you think?
It would have to be the manager would have to put it vote. He gets in with the fan vote, but the manager would choose the pitchers.
Okay. Interesting. I was trying to figure that out because I'm like, how is that possible? I'm like, is that really something that they can do? Like, could they vote him in twice? And I guess you're right. The fans could vote him in twice. But the managers will not. The managers will not vote him in twice. Let's talk about closers because obviously we already know one closer is not going to make it.
But by the way, Joe Madden does want Ohtani to pitch and hit. He already spoke to Kevin Cash.
Interesting.
So he does want him in there to hit and pitch in the game. So
interesting.
I think you're going to see it happen.
Okay. All right. Cool. I'd like to see that too. All right. So I'm looking at our top 5. Essentially, what's going to be our top 5 closers at the moment. and Mark Melicon from San Diego is the number one closer right now with 25 saves. I think without any doubt he'll probably make it. I'm going to guess they're probably going to put all closers in for the bullpen, right? I mean, how many closers?
Oh yeah.
How many?
I think you're going to see Kimbrel.
I was going to say I think Kimbrel's going to make it. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
What about Hader and Kenley Jansen? Because those two guys are doing pretty good this season too.
I don't know if Kenley Jansen's going to make it, but I think Hader will definitely get in.
You think Hader will go in? And what about Liam Hendricks? Liam Hendricks from Chicago.
And I think you might even see Edwin Diaz. Call me crazy, but you might see Edwin Diaz from the Mets.
I don't know about that one. I actually disagree. I disagree with you on that one. I even though he's been pretty decent, I don't think he's going to. I really don't think he's going to. I don't think another Mets pitcher is going to. Well, then again, if they do anything, maybe they have Edwin Diaz take Jacob deGrom's spot.
Exactly, or you could have Taijuan Walker could get in as a starter for the Mets too. So we'll see.
We'll see about that. I don't know about that one, but you never know, right? He's got an under 3 ERA, so he's been solid this year. Does there need to be a player represented for every team?
Yes.
So then, and who chooses that? Is it the Mets or is it MLB?
I believe it's the manager.
The manager. So it'd be up to the manager saying, "Hey, Jacob deGrom can't pitch, for the All-Star game. I want this guy instead." That's how it would be.
I believe so. Yeah. It's not MLB deciding. I don't believe it's he would be asked, or maybe MLB and the manager. I'm not, but it's definitely not the Mets can't decide. It definitely comes from higher up.
Well,
but Taijuan Walker is a 2.44 ERA, so he's been solid. He's been one of their best pitchers.
Oh,
so,
okay.
So he might get. We'll see, and be interesting to see if he gets in. I could see him definitely getting in for deGrom. Yeah,
I guess I can see that maybe. We'll see. I guess we'll see what happens. We'll know after today, right? And then we'll be able to take.
I believe it's today. Yeah,
we'll be able to talk about that next week about the pitchers that came in because now we'll know. We'll know for certain. Well, now, are they really gonna, like, if deGrom makes the fan vote, are they going to name him as a starter and we're just not going to know who takes his place? I'm guessing that's probably what they're going to do first, right?
Yeah, they'll mention him. Yep, that's what it'll be, and they'll be like, filling in for him will be this. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right, cool. I'm excited because for the All-Star game, I mean, I haven't really been paying attention as to who's going to be in the home run derby or possibly like that. I don't think they've announced anything yet. I think obviously, if we hear anything, probably Trevor Story is probably going to be the one guy to look out for. Because I'm sure he's going to be part of the home run derby. I can't see why he wouldn't be. I understand he's one of the guys that's really like pretty high up there. Along with the others, I think we know that how this goes with Vlad Guerrero Jr. is obviously probably going to be up there. Ohtani's going to be there. Tatis Jr. Will be there. My guess. It's just my guess is how it's going to go. I wouldn't be surprised if they put Judge in there too. Actually, I don't see Trevor Story has a lot of home runs this season. I thought he had a lot more, right? But I would imagine they'll probably put him in there though.
Yeah, I'm not really sure who they're putting in yet.
Yeah,
I heard some guys don't even want to go into it either because it messes up their swing. So be interesting to see.
So that's actually a good conversation I was going to have with you. So you're talking about guys not wanting to go into the home run derby, and we're talking about guys possibly not going to the All-Star game because of injuries. But what about guys not going to the All-Star game because the team wants to give them a break? And I'm looking at Aaron Judge. I'm looking at Aaron Judge at this one because I'm hearing lots of talk about maybe they should have Aaron Judge take a break and not even go to the All-Star game. This way he can kind of rest up a little bit to get for the rest of the season. Do you agree with that?
No,
I don't agree with it either.
Like I said, it's an opportunity that not everyone gets, and he deserves it. He's had a great year. He's one of the few bright spots on this Yankee team this year. So absolutely he should go and enjoy it.
Yeah.
I don't think he should be in the home run derby though.
I don't think he should be in a home run derby either. But I don't know. We'll see what they do. Right. I think he should play the All-Star game too. I think that that there's no reason for him to take a break. I mean, look how bad the Yankees are doing. What's he going to take a break for? He can take a break to come back to a team that might just be as bad when he comes back.
Right.
What's the point? Go and have fun. Go and have fun.
The home run derby will be interesting this year, especially in Coors Field. Mile high. You're gonna the ball may go. You may see a couple over 500 feet.
Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking too. So, and that's why I'm saying obviously Trevor Story is going to be there because that's clearly his home.
He will, so, yeah, exactly. They'll root for the hometown boy.
Yeah, this is exactly what they're going to do. All right, I think we covered enough baseball and enough All-Star game too. Unless you have something to add on baseball, I don't know what else we can talk about.
I do not.
All right, so Euro 2020. So let's start. Let's go to soccer, or as they call it in Europe, football, because this is true football. I mean, this is what it is. This is what football is. You have a ball and you kick it with your foot. That's what football,
it. Yeah,
that's what football is. Yeah, I started watching, a little bit more, just to get a feel for things, but haven't really. It's mainly been background noise for me. Just because sometimes these games are on when I'm logged on for work. But I did get to watch England and Ukraine yesterday, and I was so disappointed in Ukraine and how they played because they started out pretty good, but England got the early lead 1-0. But the entire that entire first half that they had, Ukraine, looked like, at least when I was watching, Ukraine looked like they had a lot of possession of the ball. Even though England showed 57% possession, it looked like Ukraine had a lot of possession, but they weren't getting a lot of chances off, and it looked like England was playing strong D. I think there was a moment yesterday that occurred that really messed things up for Ukraine. It was right before the first half ended, and one of the England players got taken out by one of the Ukraine players. The Ukraine player went to go, shake, like, how when the player's down, you want to be more sportsmanship, and this happens in football all the time, like American football. You put your hand down and help them up, right?
Yep.
Well, the Ukraine player went to go do that, and his teammate shoved him away, saying, "What are you thinking? Don't do that. Don't do that for the opposing team. These saying this is our enemy." I was very disappointed to see that from a Ukraine player, that he did that, and I thought that was a pivoting moment right there, where England came back that second half and just said, you know what, they're going to be jerk offs to us. Well, we're going to win this game, and sure enough, they got that second goal early on. The Ukraine player basically the goalie didn't even move on the free kick. Like, he didn't even move. And I just face palmed, and I go, game's over. I'm like, it's 2-0, game is over. And as you know, with soccer, I'm going to call it soccer because that's what you and I are used to calling it.
Yep.
With soccer, it's not easy to come back from even a 1-goal deficit. I mean, especially in professional sports, right?
Exactly.
So, England blew away Ukraine, and I'm disappointed Ukraine lost because that was my team. And England won 4-0. I actually don't think England is the real deal. I mean, there's a lot of folks in England right now and in the UK that didn't even think England was going to be here. They didn't even think they were going to make it that far. However, I guess looking on, it sounds like they're going to be playing Denmark next. Denmark beat the Czech Republic. To me, if you're going to ask me a question right now, I think that England has a pretty good chance against Denmark because Denmark barely squeezed one by the Czech Republic. So I think England is actually going to get to the finals at this point, right? Because they would be the favorite on that side. However, let's talk about what's going to be the game of the week: Italy and Spain. I mean,
yeah,
oof.
Be a good one. But Italy is going to miss their best defender, though, Leonardo Spinazzola. He tore his Achilles against he tore his Achilles against Belgium, so that's going to be a big loss for them in the back. So, but I still think Italy is going to prevail and beat Spain.
Interesting.
Could come down to a penalty shootout, but I do think Italy is going to find a way to win that.
Interesting.
Should be fun. Should be a fun one to watch, though.
Interesting. I actually think Spain's going to win.
Okay.
I actually think Spain's going to win.
It's something
I,
different.
I don't have any reasons, but now that you're telling me that Italy is missing their best defenseman, that kind of makes me lean towards Spain a little bit more. So that game is on Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern. Again, background noise for me. And then the England-Denmark games on Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern as well. Again, background noise for me. All things depending, whether I'm on work calls or whatever. Yeah, and then
Call out sick. Come on.
No, I don't call out sick. I work from home all the time.
I know.
I only call out sick if I'm really, really sick.
I hear you.
But so Sunday, but then the finals obviously are Sunday at 3 p.m. So we're probably going to be doing this podcast right before the finals occur. We could talk about what we think on the finals and give our thoughts then. We'll see what happens. I mean, I'm predicting England, Spain. You're predicting England, Italy. Is that what we're saying? Or do you think
I am predicting England, Italy, and I do think that Italy's going to probably win that. But we'll see.
You think Italy's good? Yeah. If it goes England, Italy, I will probably agree with you that Italy's going to win it all.
Because England never wins.
If it goes England, Spain, I probably will say that Spain wins. And that's the thing with the people in the UK. They know England never wins, and it'd be very shocking if they did. To them at least. So, and let me tell you, if they win, they're going to go crazy over there. There's going to be parties in the street. There are going to be parties in the street. COVID or not over there. I know they were having a little bit of a problem for a little bit. But COVID or not over there, they're going to be partying in the street. It's going to be ridiculous. So.
Oh yeah, they're having a good time.
Yeah.
Italy set a Euro UEFA record with 15 straight wins. So that's pretty impressive.
Wow. Yeah. Wow, that's very impressive. Wow. I mean, I guess if Spain does knock them off, it'll be kind of, I wouldn't say a miracle, but it'll definitely be an upset then.
Be a little upset, slight upset, yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Quite interesting. I don't. We're coming down to the nitty gritty with them. So I mean, obviously, by the time we get this podcast next week, we're going to be talking about the NHL Finals with the Stanley Cup. We'll be talking about the finals coming up for the Euro 2020, and they're calling it the 2020 Euro 2020 because they didn't have it last year.
Right?
So it's not the 2021.
Yep.
And one thing we can talk about now, let's go away from European football or soccer or whatever you want to call it, is unless you have something to touch base on there, is that we can talk about the NBA Finals. Is now set in stone. We have the Phoenix Suns going against the Milwaukee Bucks, and all I have to say is go Bucks.
And we called that last week. I know you and I were on the same page with that. But yeah, going with the Bucks, they lost Giannis to an injury. We don't know how healthy he'll be. I think the Suns are going to win it all.
You think the Suns are going to win it all? Wow. I think it's going to go 7 games.
I think it could, sure.
Yeah.
But I just think the Suns are with Chris Paul. This is his time, and he's rose to the occasion. I think he's really. I just think they're rested, and just think they're the better team at this point.
Interesting. I actually think Bucks are going to pull it off. So. Here we are. Difference of opinions now for a couple things. So
yeah.
Good news is we don't have a difference of opinion in hockey. All right. So clearly, we're talking about this and all season long. Who was a better team all season long? Was it the Bucks or was it the Suns?
Phoenix had the best record. Yeah, Phoenix
had the best record.
They had a better record. They were 51-21. Milwaukee was 46-26. So they had a better record. So they will host they have home court through the final.
Huh. Interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm looking at the games the Bucks really did score a lot. I would hate to tell you that. Last game, the Hawks did get a lot against them, but the Bucks had so much. I'm not surprised. Let me look to see what June had, because June was a different. Yeah, the Suns were pretty good against the Lakers from what I understand. Okay. So, and I've lost all my scores now. So I've lost all my scores. Wow, this is going to be a very interesting series. That's for certain. Um, I'm actually happy though that we're getting Suns and Bucks because it's a little different compared to the same teams that we're used to seeing winning all the time, right?
Oh, this is great. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
getting some parity.
yeah, and I
Yeah,
like that. Yeah, yeah, the
two teams
Suns.
that haven't won. I don't know if they've ever won it, but two teams that haven't won. You're gonna get someone new, so it's really
Yeah,
good.
and I'm happy to see that. I mean, wow, I didn't even know the Nets were doing that good against the Bucks to begin with, and the Bucks came back and beat them, huh? I had no idea
Yeah,
about that.
yeah,
Wow,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
interesting. And they had some low scoring games from what I'm seeing on there. Interesting to
yeah.
see that. Interesting.
Yeah,
And the
the
Suns
Bucks,
sweep
the Bucks
Denver.
are in the finals for the first time since 1974.
Wow.
They did win it in 1971, but that was the franchise third season of existence. So the
Wow.
Suns have never won a championship, and they'll be making their third all time finals appearance. So
Is that
and
right?
no
They never won a championship? I really thought they won one.
yeah, and no player on either team's ever won. So it's gonna be good.
And no player
Yeah,
on either team's ever won one. Okay. That's interesting.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow, I had no idea about that. That's interesting. I really thought that they actually they actually had one, especially when Charles Barkley was there. But I guess that wasn't the
No, he never
case.
won.
He
No,
never
they
did
got to
win
the
one.
finals now.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
they met that man called Michael Jordan.
Yeah, that's right. I remember. Oh, man, that was you can't beat that. I mean, without a
No,
doubt,
you can't.
you can't beat
No,
that.
unfortunately.
Wow. Okay. All right. Cool. Well, you think the Suns because I'm looking at the Suns really dominated. I still think the Bucks are going to pull it off. I'm rooting for them. I'm just rooting for them at this point. I think it's going to go 7 games though. That's just my opinion. And
Well, we'll see.
I think
We'll see.
let me see when the games are because I think basketball starts on Tuesday. Um,
Tuesday night,
Tuesday
nine
night,
o'clock.
right? So by the time we
Yeah.
talk next week, we can
We'll
absolutely
we'll have 2 games. We'll be able to
we'll have
analyze
2 games.
Tuesdays and Thursdays,
Tuesday
so
and
we'll know.
Thursday, yeah. So we'll know where
Yeah,
we're at that point. Then you got Sunday, Wednesday, and then if all possible, potentially Saturday the following week. So
exactly.
yeah, we can really touch base on what's going on there. I'll try to follow this a little bit more. Clearly, I'm pulling for the Bucks. I've been to Milwaukee. I've never been to Phoenix, but I've been to Arizona. But you've been to Arizona with me too.
Yes, I
So
have.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I've been to Milwaukee and I know how passionate the fans are over there for their teams.
Hmm.
They're pretty hardcore. I will tell you that much for certain. I mean, what
Uh,
sports is one of the big things besides beer. Sports is their other big thing over there in Milwaukee.
well, they had the Deer District right outside the Pfizer Forum. Crowds go crazy. They line up, watch all the games. That's what they
Yep.
call it, the Deer District. They
Yep.
love it out there. They do party hard.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And
Yeah.
I think that's going to be. I think that's going to be, and the Bucks are probably the thing that they're most proud about. To be honest with you, I think that's between the Brew. I don't think they're too proud about the Brewers, but they're very proud about the Bucks, without a doubt. And
And they're so tired of hearing about Aaron Rodgers if he's going to play or not with the Packers.
well,
So yeah, you're
yeah,
right.
well, that's Green Bay. We're not Milwaukee, but yeah,
Yeah, but it's still Wisconsin, and
still
they're
Wisconsin,
so
right?
tired of hearing that. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. We won't get into football until August at this point, unless something
No,
big
no,
happens, right?
no.
I mean, unless
Exactly.
unless you want to touch base about Aaron Rodgers, I'd be okay with that. What do you want to say about that? I'm
That's just a fiasco right now.
so
He,
apparently the reason why is because of his fiance girlfriend or whatever, right?
yeah,
Because
yeah,
she's in California, and I'm hearing rumors that she doesn't want him in Wisconsin. She wants him over in California.
yeah. That's the rumor, but who knows? And there's actually more to it than that. Apparently, there's a lot of goes back to them drafting Jordan Love and that slighted Aaron Rodgers a couple years ago, and there's been some bad blood between him and the franchise. So
Huh.
I don't think it has anything to do with really with his girlfriend, and that's what they're saying. But I
Right.
think it was Shailene Woodley. So yeah, I don't
Right.
think it has much to do with her. So,
Huh.
but
Interesting.
we'll see. At the end of the day, I still think he'll wind up playing. We'll see.
I mean, he's going to play somewhere, and no team's going to say we don't want him. I think that's clearly obvious. But
Right.
I mean, he's going to play somewhere, whether it's Green Bay or somewhere else. I don't know.
Well,
If he doesn't play for Green Bay, where does he go?
Green Bay would have to let him go. So he's either, and what I hear, they have a stronghold on him, so he may not play. So we'll see. It'd be very interesting to follow that and see how that goes. I just don't see him not playing. I still see it working at the last second. Whether they'll give him what he wants. Yeah, they'll give him, but I don't know. It's a power struggle right now between the two. So.
Well, I honestly don't want to see Aaron Rodgers leave Wisconsin. I mean, it's as simple as
no,
that. I think
him
that's
as a Packer.
Right. I know him as a Packer, just how we knew Brett Favre. Right. So, I mean, simple as that.
Well,
right.
Exactly.
And that's the way I looked at it. I don't want to see him leave there, but if he did, where does he go on a West Coast team? I don't know. Does he really go to the West Coast? I would think he probably does somewhere. But again, I think you're right. I think they just finally come to an agreement eventually, and he sucks it up and he plays. Whether or not he's happy about it, I don't know. We'll see. I hope there's no no sneaky animosity of some sort from Brett Favre and the team if they force him to play, or if he chooses to play and he doesn't start doing things on purpose. I can't see him doing that. He's too professional about that.
He is, and as a trickle down effect, because then Devontae Adams doesn't want to play,
right?
If he, so it's a whole thing. So we'll hopefully, for the good of the game, he stays and he plays, and that's it. And they move on.
I didn't think we'd be talking about football in July, but here we are.
Well, you never know what comes up. That's why it's a live show. It's our live podcast. We talk. We don't know. Nothing's rehearsed. We just talk, and whatever comes to mind, we discuss. So that's it.
Well,
here we are.
Since nothing's rehearsed, let's go. Locks of the week, Bob. I want to hear your locks of the week. Give me your thoughts on yours from last week, and tell me what you got going on this week now.
Well, last week I was so wrong about the Yankees. I was right with the Bucks, and I was correct with that was Game 3 over the Hawks. I did think they would win that. They did, and I was right with the Lightning taking care of Montreal. So that and then I kind of mentioned it as I said, I think that the Clippers Suns was going to go 7 games, and I thought the Clippers would win that night. So we'll call it 2-2 last week. So even week, 500. This week, hopefully, this week's gonna be interesting. Today I am actually going to put a lock in that I believe Blake Snell against Vince Velasquez of the Phillies. I think the Padres will win today. That I do not think the Phillies will sweep the Padres.
This is Sunday night you're talking. So
this is today. Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And I'm going to say that. And also this week, I'm going to say tomorrow night, I'm going to say that the Tampa Bay Lightning will win the Stanley Cup.
Interesting. Okay.
And I'm going to give another one to have 3. So I can't finish 500. I am going to go on a limb and say that it's a game. I think this week the Yankees are going out west. They're playing the Mariners, and then they have to go to Houston before the All-Star. So this is where the season could really get away. I think the Mariners will actually win tomorrow evening.
Interesting. So there's your 3 locks right now. So you're talking 3 locks. Any other locks you want to add in there, or do we have
that? Well, yeah. I mean, if you want, I could add one. I think I'll go NBA Finals since we're still in the playoffs. I'll take the Phoenix Suns in Game 1.
Phoenix Suns Game 1 Tuesday night.
I'll go with 4. So we'll see. Hopefully,
so now you could potentially go 500. So you might as well add a 5th one in there if you can, just so you don't go 500.
Right. Exactly. Actually, the Yankees will play the Mariners on Tuesday night. So that's the first game of this. So I think the Mariners will win that. You want me to add another one? I'll be happy to add another one. I'm going to say that the Mets this week, they're playing the Brewers. I'm going to say the Brewers take Game 1 of that series.
Okay. All right. So we got 5 games now that you put out there.
And that's on Monday night. That's Brandon Woodruff pitching against to be determined. So I'm going to take the Brewers riding the hot streak. could be a 12-game winning streak into Citi Field. So
interesting. All right. Well, there's your locks of the week. So we'll pay attention to that. I'm not giving any locks because they're not me. That's you. I have my thoughts on certain things, but I'm not going to disagree with you. I'm going to put your locks of the week and call them locks of the week because we're not going to disagree on anything. I will disagree with one of them on there, I think, obviously, but I think that we'll stick with them and we'll see what happens. And we'll text them. We'll text each other during the week, and you'll be like, "Yeah, I called this. I was all over it, or I was wrong."
Exactly.
So we'll see. It's coming up, right?
Those are good wrong, I'm the first to admit it. That's it.
Yeah, exactly.
I own up to it.
Yeah. All right. So if you're betting and you're listening to Bob, and Bob knows sports pretty well, take his locks and just throw him in there. Do a 5-team parlay and see what happens. and if you're me, don't do a 5-team parlay because you get screwed over by the Red Sox.
Right, exactly. A rain delay, right?
Yeah. Oh man, don't get me started on that nonsense with David Wells back in the day. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Was it Derek Lowe and David Wells, right?
Yeah, and they left David Wells in cold is
right.
You know what? And after like a 3 or 4 hour rain delay, and he just gave up all these runs, and I'm just shaking my head. I'm like,
it was so long ago that we couldn't even track it. I had to call back home to find out the score because this is well before satellite and everything like that. So.
Yeah, and I would have won tons of money that night, and that was the one game that screwed me over. And unfortunately, I didn't win anything. And
but hey, I give you credit. I know in Tampa you did call the Nets over the Celtics with Keith Van Horn, right? Who would have thought that?
Yeah, who would have thought that, right? Yeah, exactly. I remember that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyway, all right. Maybe eventually in due time we'll be back in Vegas to experience some more. We'll see what happens, with things. But we'll talk about that later in the year. So
sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, man. I have nothing else to add. I don't know if you want to add any by the ways or anything. I don't necessarily have anything. I've covered everything I wanted to cover and asked you a lot.
I think it was an excellent show. I think we covered a ton of things. So I do not have anything to add at this time. Just want to wish everyone a happy and safe Independence Day. Enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely. Enjoy, everyone. And I'll throw a little joke out there for everybody. If you're barbecuing today, make sure you realize that you saved those 16 cents. Just get a little political joke in there.
There you
go. Anyway, let's end this here now. So this is Dan and Bob from the Nerd Culture Podcast, Sports Nerds with the Sports Weekly. We'll be doing these every Sunday morning. I guess this will probably be posted right before the 1:00 games all start occurring, probably before 12:00. You can follow us on Facebook. Just look at the Nerd Culture Podcast Facebook group. You can follow us on Twitter at the Nerd Culture One. That's the Nerd Culture Podcast Twitter. We are on YouTube. We are on Instagram at the Nerd Culture Podcast. And I don't know what the heck's going on with the Spotify thing. I'm trying to figure it out. It seems like Spotify just doesn't want to put things up there. I'll send a note to their support to see what they say. But we eventually should be on Spotify, and we can share from there. But and we are on Podbean, which is where we're hosting this podcast, really. So really, that's where everything's coming from. So if you are part of Podbean, go ahead and give us a follow on there and listen to our show every week. We have other shows as well. Bob, I don't know if you are aware of this. I will throw this out there for you now. I have a couple of girls interested getting on some podcasts in the future for different things. So they want to be nerds too. So it's not just the guys that are nerds, but it's girls too.
Sounds good. Hey, more to merrier.
So I don't think they're going to be on sports podcasts, to be honest with you, but who knows? You might have one or two that might want to chat. Want
to join us as a guest? Feel free. Absolutely.
And that goes for anyone. If anyone wants to join us for a guest, feel free. Reach out to us, because we can always talk. And I know there's a few people that would love to probably talk with us about certain things.
Sure.
I can think of two right off the top of my head right now, but I'm not going to name names. I don't want to call them out yet. But I'll text you later on just to tell you who I think they are. Yeah. All right. So anyway, give us a follow and all that stuff. And and if you have any questions, reach out. Just leave a comment if you have any questions before next week. I try to throw this out there for Q&A. Because I wouldn't mind doing a Q&A as well. What
Sure.
kind of things you want for us to cover on sports, and Bob and I will definitely talk about it as much as we can. So take care, everyone. Bob, say goodbye, and we'll end it there.
Sounds good, guys. Everyone, peace out.
Later. Peace.